The Montreal Canadiens are shocking the world. And I think it goes so far that we could even say that as Canadiens fans ourselves, this is a little bit shocking. Now, the thing is, if you had asked Montreal Canadiens fans at the beginning of the season, or even like 2 months into the year, hey, are the Montreal Canadiens good enough to make the playoffs? I think the answer would have been yes. If everybody plays to their potential, if the team clicks the right way, if they sustain this high quality play for a good chunk of the season, they can make the dance. And I think that was always the case with what we knew this team was capable of. They could do it. It's just the team had a lot of bad stretches, and it's why I said, hey, even when the Canadiens had a terrible start to the season, they had a whole bunch of wins to start things off, but then they had a really bad losing streak at the start of November that carried over into some wins and losses, and then they were winning again in December, and things kind of went down the drain. In January, the Habs had a really up and down year. But I think deep in our hearts as Canadiens fans, we all knew that the potential was there. It's just consistency be damned, and overall roles be damned too, because you could say, hey, the Habs are a young team, they're going through the motions, they've got these leadership guys like David Savard and Gallagher and Armia, and you could say Mike Matheson too. The best players on the Habs are the young players, so it's not going to be super seamless. They're not going to be shot out of a cannon. They're not going to make the playoffs right away. It's going to be a grind to get there. It might not even be this year. And it's why, throughout the course of the 24-25 season, especially during those losing streaks in November and later on in January, we were talking about the Montreal Canadiens as a lottery team. We were making videos about potential first overall picks and James Hagens and his commentary about being a Canadian and all the cool stuff that comes with talking about the prospects and the future. But Montreal is not there anymore. No. The Montreal Canadiens have totally shocked the system, and we have been chronicling that here on this YouTube channel ever since the Four Nations break has come and gone. The Montreal Canadiens are 8-1-2. They have garnered, what is that, 18 out of a possible 22 points? Do the math on that. That's a .81 points percentage. And the best part is, the Montreal Canadiens are making this look exciting. They're coming out here flying. They're shutting out the Carolina Hurricanes. They're getting overtime wins. They're getting overtime losses, losing pretty badly to one of the fastest overtime goals ever, if not the fastest, something like that. Thanks, Brandon Montour. But with a domineering win, 3-1 over the Florida Panthers, and a stomping of the Ottawa Senators yesterday, 6-3, Montreal hockey has never been this exciting. And we have some extra numbers, some thoughts to go over here with the Habs and their team. Nick Suzuki. This post was made on the RHabs subreddit. Nick Suzuki, since the Four Nations break, has 18 points in 11 games, or a 1.6 points per game. If you just do the math here, let's take a look at the remaining sample of games for Montreal. So Nick Suzuki has played 67 games this season. He's already got 70 points. He is 7 points away from matching his career high of points from last season. He's on pace for 86 points on the year. He's over a point per game. If you assume Nick Suzuki scores the remaining 15 games at a 1.6 points per game, which we're not going to say is guaranteed, but let's just assume it happens. If Nick Suzuki finishes off the season with the current point production pace that he is on, he'll end off the season with 94 points. You just do 1.6 multiplied out by 15 and you add that to 70. That is absolutely insane, and it really puts into perspective just the ceiling that Nick Suzuki is capable of scoring at. Heading over to statmuse.com, here are the NHL point leaders since February 22nd, 2025. Roope is number 1 with 19 points, absolutely crazy there. But Nick Suzuki is tied for second, with Draisaitl and McDavid nonetheless. Look at the point production out of these guys here. Nylander, Bratt, Panarin, McKinnon, Dubois, Crosby, Connor all at 16, and Nick Suzuki is right up there. If you take a look at the games played, he is only at 11. McDavid and Draisaitl have 13, so he technically is a little bit better than those two, which, that's kind of scary to go out there and definitively say about anybody, but hey, he's there. Suzuki is literally one of the best NHL point producers since the break, and it's not even just him on his own team that's been going out there and dominating. Lane Hutson has gotten himself up to 12 points in these 11 games so far, and now you're looking at his numbers. Here are the most points by an NHL rookie D-man in the last 33 years, as posted by Habs on Reddit. Nick Lindstrom in 91-92 had 60 points in 80 games. 33 years later, you have Lane Hutson at 53 points in 67 games. You also have him beating out Quinn Hughes, getting the same amount of points in one fewer game when Quinn was a rookie in 2019-20. Cale Makar didn't produce as many points because he didn't play as many games. He had a higher points per game number, but he didn't have the games to fulfill it. But still, Hutson is in that territory here of dominating from the back end, scoring goals, and just creating things out of nothing. Juraj Slafkovsky has gone out there and started hitting everything that moves. He's taking that Brady Tkachuk comment to heart. He wants to be Brady Tkachuk 2.0. Shots and hits and points. He didn't get out any points yesterday, but still, 19 minutes time on ice, he was looking like a beast. The Montreal Canadiens are playing their minds out right now. And we haven't even talked about some of the other stuff that has been ruminating in Habsland too. You can talk about the prospects. You can talk about Michael Hage. You can talk about Ivan Demidov. You can talk about the recovery of Reinbacher. You can talk about all these extra things that will bleed into the Canadiens roster over the next few months, if not next few years. But right now, with the regular old team, oh boy, they're winning. And they're putting themselves on the pedestal when it comes to being an NHL playoff-worthy team. They're at a 31.2% chance of making the playoffs right now. New York has a 35.1% chance. I honestly don't know why it says that. Is it divisional-based? I'm not sure. Because right now, the Habs are in that playoff spot. They've got one more point than New York. New York has 2 more games played, so Montreal does have the best points percentage by quite a significant margin out of all these remaining wildcard teams. I was thinking is it strength of schedule based? Is that why New York is at a higher percentage odds of making the playoffs than Montreal? But then if you go over to Tankathon, you'll see that Montreal actually has an easier strength of schedule of their remaining games compared to New York. New York has the 12th most difficult schedule in the NHL. Montreal has the 19th most difficult schedule, so the Habs have easier opponents towards the end. They've got more games, and they're already at a higher points percentage mark than New York. We're only talking about New York because they're the closest team in that wildcard race to Montreal, but the Habs are in a pretty good spot. If they make the playoffs with a minus 16 goal differential like they have right now, honestly, it's probably not going to stay minus 16 as long as they keep on winning. But if the Canadiens continue this momentum, they ride into the playoffs, then we can start thinking about the same conversation we had talked about yesterday. Ivan Demidov, his KHL contract, it's going to expire in May. Maybe, Kent Hughes said, Ivan Demidov's not going to join the Canadiens in the regular season. Maybe he joins in the playoffs. He can be Cale Makar 2.0, who makes his debut with the dance and shows off all his fancy moves and racks up all the points. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below how the Montreal Canadiens are shocking the world. They are on cloud 9, and they seem absolutely unstoppable at this point. Not to say they're the best team in the league, but they're getting hot at the right time. And the rest of the league has to take notice. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Habs. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on. And Bye.